If I told you there's a single plant you can grow once and harvest fertilizer from for decades without buying bags, bottles, or powders, you'd probably assume it's another gardening myth. I did too, yet this plant was once a backbone of traditional gardens, homesteads and farms across Europe and beyond. Today, it's almost forgotten. On Soil Power, we dig up those buried truths, and this one deserves the spotlight. That plant is comfrey, and it might be the most misunderstood fertility tool in modern gardening. Comfrey isn't magical, it's biological. Its power comes from a deep, aggressive root system that reaches far below the reach of most garden plants. While shallow-rooted crops skim the soil surface, comfrey mines minerals from deep subsoil layers: potassium, calcium, phosphorus, magnesium, and trace elements that have slowly leached downward over decades. Those nutrients don't stay locked underground. Comfrey pulls them up, packs them into its leaves, and hands them back to you every time you cut it. In effect, it turns deep soil into a rechargeable fertility battery. Cut the leaves, feed the soil, and the plant regrows, again and again. That's what people mean when they say infinite fertilizer. Not instant, not synthetic, but endlessly renewable. Before bottled fertilizers existed, gardeners had to think in systems. Fertility wasn't purchased, it was grown. Comfrey earned its place because it worked across climates, soils, and generations. Old gardens planted comfrey along borders, near compost piles, under fruit trees, and beside animal pens. Leaves were chopped and dropped as mulch, soaked into liquid feeds, added to compost heaps, or fed to livestock. Nothing fancy, just biology doing what it does best. Comfrey didn't just feed plants, it fed soil life. And healthy soil, as you already know, feeds everything else. Comfrey leaves are famously rich in potassium, making them ideal for fruiting crops like tomatoes, peppers, squash, and fruit trees. But that's only part of the story. The leaves also carry nitrogen for leafy growth, calcium for cell strength, phosphorus for roots and flowers, and a spectrum of micronutrients that bagged fertilizers rarely include. What makes this different from store-bought inputs is context. These nutrients are packaged in organic matter. Soil microbes recognize it, break it down, and distribute it slowly and intelligently. There's no salt burn, no nutrient spike, no microbial crash. You're not feeding plants directly, you're feeding the living soil that feeds the plants. A single established comfrey plant can be cut 4 to 6 times per growing season. Each cut yields a heavy mass of leaves that regrow quickly, especially once the roots are mature. Those leaves can be used immediately or processed in different ways depending on your needs. Fresh leaves laid around crops act as a mineral-rich mulch that breaks down fast. Chopped leaves mixed into compost accelerate decomposition and boost nutrient density. Leaves soaked in water for a few weeks create a dark, potent liquid fertilizer that can be diluted and poured around heavy feeders. The plant doesn't get weaker, it gets stronger. Every cut encourages deeper roots and thicker crowns. That's why gardeners who plant comfrey once often rely on it for decades. So if comfrey works so well, why did it disappear from mainstream gardening? The answer isn't complicated. It doesn't fit an industrial model. Comfrey can't be patented. It doesn't need repeat purchases. It grows locally and spreads by root, not seed catalogs. It teaches gardeners to think long-term, not seasonal, and it replaces multiple commercial products with one perennial plant. As agriculture shifted toward extractive systems, where fertility is removed and replaced with external inputs, plants like comfrey became irrelevant to profit-driven models. Knowledge faded. Convenience replaced understanding. There's also fear. Comfrey is often labeled invasive, which is only half true. Common comfrey spreads easily, yes. But sterile varieties like Bocking 14 don't self-seed and stay exactly where you plant them. The solution was never abandonment, it was proper use. Comfrey isn't a row crop, it's infrastructure, planted at the edge of beds, near fruit trees, along fences or beside compost areas. Give it space and sunlight, and it will reward you endlessly. Once planted, it's nearly impossible to remove, so choose its location thoughtfully. That permanence is a feature, not a flaw. In permaculture systems, comfrey acts as a nutrient pump, mulch factory, compost activator, and living mineral mine. In small gardens, even 1 or 2 plants can significantly reduce your need for external fertilizer. Here's the key lesson we always return to on soil power: fertility should build over time, not disappear after harvest. Comfrey fits that philosophy perfectly. Instead of chasing quick fixes, you're building a closed-loop system. Nutrients rise from deep soil, feed your crops, return as residues and cycle again. Every season improves the next. Soil structure deepens, microbial life explodes, water retention improves. This isn't about nostalgia, it's about resilience. Comfrey isn't just a fertilizer plant, it's a reminder that many of our modern problems were already solved, quietly, efficiently, and without packaging. A reminder that soil fertility doesn't come from factories, but from relationships between plants, microbes, and time. When we stopped using comfrey, we didn't just lose a plant, we lost a way of thinking. And the good news? We can bring it back. If this kind of soil-first thinking resonates with you, you're in the right place. Soil Power exists to uncover these forgotten tools, test them honestly, and put them back into the hands of everyday gardeners. If you found this useful, subscribe to the channel, share it with a fellow grower, and help keep this knowledge alive. The soil remembers, even if we forgot.